Now, are we
Oh,
only live on here? And if you guys are just joining, if this is up on YouTube, which I'm not sure yet of, but if it is on
it's
YouTube,
not
this will be
for me.
uploaded
For
as a
me, it's
video.
not up.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Oh, wait, we're up. We're up on the channel. That's it.
Oh, we're up on the
We're
channel?
still up. Yep, all
All right. Well,
right. Let's go.
all right. So, what we're going to do with these podcasts, we're going to do them as live streams, and then we're going to upload them as videos, raw, unedited. So, I'm just going to explain a little bit of that before we get into it. So, originally, you might have seen that on Anchor, we had the podcast with the same name up, and now we're not on there, we're on here, and we're calling it episode 1. But if you do want to see the Anchor, like, first episode, technically, if you want to see that, then you can go check it out on Anchor. There's a link in the description, and we'll be just talking about the Hornets on here, and we'll just be transitioning to YouTube because YouTube's a little bit easier, I think, for us to manage and stuff. So that's why we're going to switch it over to YouTube, and we're just going to start. But this is still very new to us. I just want to let you know, very new, because we just started. We just started with this, so this might be a little bit of a process, but we'll figure this out eventually. This is just the first time I'm trying to live stream through just YouTube, not through PlayStation or anything. So this might be a little bit of a process, but we should be able to get there at
Yeah.
some point, have this nailed down and easy. So just to let you know, but right now I'm currently playing the thumbnail. So once I get that up for the stream, because I originally had it set up through YouTube a different way, and that didn't work because like I said, we're very new to this. So we're just trying to figure out how this works. And let's start off with the Hornets versus Wizards tonight. That was a good win for the Hornets. That was pretty much a must-win game, especially if you look at their upcoming schedule, where they have to take on the Nets on Thursday and the Pacers on Friday. So back-to-back games, and pretty good, I would say, pretty good teams overall.
Yeah.
So pretty
Honestly,
much tonight was a must-win, even though the Wizards did beat the Pacers yesterday, and Westbrook was really good. It pretty much was a must-win game for us.
yeah, it really
So
was. And it was a good win, too. It was a good win. I'm glad we got the win. So, to be honest, I, I feel like we should be set to really try and compete with this Hornets team. And another thing that we were going to cover originally, we're going to talk about our road trip down out to the west. So overall, it wasn't that great. We went 2-3. We beat the Spurs and the Rockets, two teams we expected to end up beating. However,
yeah,
LaMelo did also get hurt in that Clippers game, and he is most likely out for the season. That's a big loss for us. We lost energy. We lost a lot of stuff. We lost mental readiness. I mean, we lost so much just from LaMelo being out. But the good thing is we pulled out for 4 straight games, or 3 straight, sorry, and tonight. So we are 4-5, 4-1 in our last 5. So
and
we have
those are the
pulled
only
out.
5 games this season that we have not had LaMelo. So without LaMelo so far, we're 4-1. And then if you take away that, the rest of the record without that 4-1 is what we were with Melo, because he played every game in the season up until that game against the Spurs, because he
Yeah,
did
which
play in the
means
Clippers game. He just
we
ended up
were.
getting injured that game with a wrist fracture. He might come back late April, early May. There's a chance of that. There's also a chance he comes back by the playoffs, but I don't think the Hornets should rush him back, because he's a really good player. And as you can see, we're still playing pretty well without him. Obviously, it would be nice to have him back, because he's a really good player and has high energy. And just giving this team like it makes it feel like a new culture, kind of, if you want to say it like that. So I think, obviously, if he's available, but I don't think you should rush him back if he's not 100%. But
I
that's
can
just
I
my opinion on
completely
it.
agree. Also, another stat. Our record actually with out LaMelo, or with LaMelo, sorry, is 20-21.
which is definitely very good for what the Hornets are doing before.
Yeah,
Last season, they had a losing record. Hornets have really just not been good that recently, even though they had Kemba, who's a really good player. Just Kemba himself really couldn't get anything done, and now we have a lot of good young players. One of the youngest teams in the league, one of the most exciting, I would say. Maybe not now since Melo's not here throwing all the flashy passes and alley-oops to Miles Bridges, my favorite player, but still
exactly.
a very exciting team to watch, very young. Miles Bridges still getting those alley-oops in, just not with Melo anymore, at least for now.
Yeah. So we do take you to the rest of the NBA because we need to, or at least the rest of the East. The Sixers did lose to the Nuggets. That doesn't really affect us that much. However, the Hawks currently are losing 81-69 with 5:36 left in the third quarter. That's a big one because, as you all may know, the Hawks are currently only a game behind us, and with that loss, they would be two behind us. And then the Magic, they're a divisional opponent. They're in our division, so it really, even though they aren't that good, it matters that they're losing, and of which they are. Tomorrow's
Yeah,
we have some.
you have to keep him. You have to keep in mind right now that the Magic, they pretty much just traded their whole team at the trade deadline. At least a lot of their good
Exactly.
pieces. I don't blame them. They might as well. They weren't really contending. Like I don't blame them at all. But
Well, tomorrow we have some teams to root for. We want the Pacers to win because they're playing the Heat. We want the Mavs to win because they're playing the Celtics. We want the Thunder to win because they're playing the Raptors. The Timberwolves to win because they're playing the Knicks. The Lakers to win because they're playing the Bucks because you never know. And we want the
yeah, we
Suns
could
to
go on a
win
run
because
and get up there. It's gonna be pretty hard though, because we're still
yeah.
5 games back, a third.
Well, the one
But
good thing with that is we do play the Bucks literally two more times.
I do understand that. But the thing is, you're gonna have to get some help from other teams because keep in mind, like even though this would be great, we're just not gonna win out most likely. Like I'm
Yeah,
trying to be
because
realistic
here's the
here.
thing. Although Jake, all we would need to do get those two wins against the Bucks, and then all after that we would need to do is just catch up with 3 games, which we can do.
Yeah, we could definitely win games. I feel like the Hornets this year will definitely make it to at least a play-in, if not like a top 6, like just for the season.
Honestly, we might, if we keep playing like we are, we might make top 4.
Yeah, and then we do have to play the Nets on Thursday, but do keep in mind Kevin Durant will not be playing. Kyrie probably will. James Harden probably will. The first time we did play the Nets earlier this season, they had Kyrie and KD playing, and we still beat them. So I think it's possible. They've also added Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. So
Yeah, but
they
here's
have
the
lost
thing.
Karis LeVert since then, also Jarrett Allen and some others. But I
Now,
still think it's going to be really hard for us to beat the Nets. We'll be on TNT national television as
I
well.
I totally agree.
So, but I think there is potential for us to win. Just I don't know because if Kevin Durant's healthy, I really just without LaMelo, if Kevin Durant's healthy, I really just don't really see a good chance for us. But
Now,
Durant won't be because the Nets are being very conservative, which I think is a great strategy by them. They're still winning games, so why rush back one of your best players if not the best on the whole team? So I like that approach. Don't want to have an Anthony Davis where you rush him back too quick and he gets injured and now is out for almost the whole season.
so
So
I would like to mention something. Key parts of our schedule. These are all key games, most of them at least, from April 20th to the end of the year. Because here are the teams that we play. We got the Knicks on the road, the Bulls on the road, the Cavs at home, Celtics at home, Bucks at home, Celtics on the road. Now the Pistons twice. That doesn't really matter. The Heat at home.
the Pistons, the thing is, I want to say about the Pistons is at that point, if the standings are still as close as they are right now, where like everybody's like right from pretty much 4 to 10 is about like a 3-game difference, like from 10th to 4th
It
or
is.
so,
It's a
like it
four-game
is now.
difference.
If it's about like that, when we get to that point where we have to play the Pistons in May, those are gonna be must-win games because at that point, the Heat are a really good team. They made it to the Eastern Conference. They made it to the NBA Finals last year and won the Eastern Conference. So that means they're still going to be a veteran team. They still have a lot of those players. So they can
Exactly.
make a run and probably get back at it, especially with Victor Oladipo going to be coming in soon and playing for the teams. They're still probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot if they're still in like the 6 range, 7 range, wherever. They're going to be fighting and trying to upper their seed.
Yes, and the rest of that schedule is the Bulls, who are currently in that play-in spot. The Magic aren't really that big a one, but it's in that time zone. It's going to be big right there.
Yeah, that's going to be another, like, one of those. That Magic game is going to be another one of those, like the Pistons, where it's a must-win because most likely the Magic will be where most likely they won't really be in the playoff picture, so they're just going to be playing for pretty much nothing at that point. But for us, that's probably going to be us somewhere determining if we make a play-in, if we make it so we get a home court, or if we have to play it on the road, like in the 5 or 6 seed. So there's probably going to be some implications by that point. So that's probably going to be another must-win game, in my opinion.
Exactly.
And then if we keep going on, the Pelicans, we did beat them earlier in the season, but we're not going to most likely have LaMelo. But that is I feel like, winnable game. The Nuggets, that's going to be a hard game to win because the Nuggets are a really good team, and they got Aaron Gordon, so they're getting even better.
Then you also have the Clippers, who last time we played them, LaMelo got hurt, and we got crushed.
Yeah, that's also a really good team. So that
and then we finish off the year against 2 in-conference opponents, one of them being the Knicks. We are currently battling to keep the 4th spot. So that's going to be a big one, especially since it's going to be on the road, and most likely they'll have fans by then.
They're already starting to have some fans in the Knicks games, not a huge percentage. And don't quote me on this, but I think it's around 10% they're allowing right now. It might be more or less. Not 100% sure, but I think they're about 10% right now. By then, I feel like it'll be a little bit higher, but I don't know how high like percentage will be with fans. But right now, they're saying around 10%-ish in New York for fans.
Tomorrow, as we said, there are some big games. Now, however, yesterday was a big day for us. We had the Wizards clutch up for us, beat the Pacers. Pelicans also, they beat the Celtics.
Yeah, I was watching the end of that game. That was the Pelicans almost blew that because they had a lead and they almost blew that to the Celtics and let them back.
Did.
But they
then
finished
you have
it off
the
with a
Heat and the Knicks with a low-scoring game, 98-88, the final.
Yeah, the Cavs game. I know that the Cavs really aren't completely in the playoff race right now, but I just do want to highlight the Cavaliers game from yesterday. That game yesterday, I didn't watch the game, but the final score, I'm assuming somebody made some mistakes. They lost 114-75.
Yeah, someone definitely did make some mistakes there.
They lost by a score of 39, and they didn't even get past 80 points. So I do get they're playing the Jazz, who are the best team in the West, but still, I think like that's kind of embarrassing, I would say, if you're the Cavaliers. Because you're not in the NBA now, they score so many more points, and you only get 75. Like, some teams get that in the first half. Like, really good teams.
Well, here's the thing. You actually have... Guess what? You know what the funny thing is? Literally, the most lopsided game in NBA history took place seeing the Miami Heat lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers 148-80. In 1991, and after taking a 20-point lead in halftime, the Cavaliers literally outscored the Heat 75-27.
You also do have to keep in mind, back then there wasn't, like, yes, there was scoring. I'm not going to get you wrong about that. But there's definitely not as much scoring as there is now. Because if you look, 3-point percentage has gone up, made, 3 points taken. And all that, when you're shooting threes and not as many twos, obviously you're going to get more points because 3-pointers worth more than twos. And if you make more threes, it's going to contribute.
Here's one from 17-18, the Hornets and the Grizzlies. The Hornets won that game 140-119. to 79.
In
And
what
that's in
year?
modern day, 1718. It's about as modern as you can get. Oh no, we got even more modern. 1819. The Celtics 133 to 77 over the Bulls. Yeah, we got some modern ones in here. You can't tell me that there isn't.
Okay. I think we get the point of the blowouts. So
And the fact that teams can still score under 80
yes, we get the point of
in
that. But
these days and ages, bro.
I do
Heck,
want to
even
say
this
the
year,
Hornets.
bro.
I
Even
do
this
want to
year,
say
do
the
you not
Hornets have been
remember the
playing really
Clippers
good
scored less
recently.
than 80?
Okay, we get the point. But all I'm gonna say is I think the Hornets have been playing really good this season, and overall, this is probably the best team we've had in almost the last decade, like overall wise.
Exactly.
Because yes,
This might
Kemba's
be
a
the
really
best
good
Hornets
player.
team we've had ever.
Like, I don't know about ever because LaMelo's not gonna probably be available the rest of the season. If he was, then I feel like that's more likely. But with him not available the rest of the season, I don't know because
Well,
we're probably
let
not
me
gonna have.
look up what the highest seed the Hornets have ever been.
You don't want to base it just off that. Like, yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah,
obviously
but
the
we
best
also have had
record.
plenty of players that are playing at a great caliber level.
Yeah, I like that, but the thing is, you have to keep in mind, like, when you're going up against teams that are going to be really stacked, it's going to be pretty hard for us because we're a very young team. We don't have much playoff experience, if at all, depending on some of the players do, some don't, but we just don't really have that much playoff experience. So I just don't really think we're going to make a deep run. But I do like how the team's playing. And no offense to Kemba or whatever, but still probably one of the best teams we've had, if not the best in the last decade or so. Maybe even history, but with LaMelo out, I don't know if I would want to say history of the Hornets.
So
But still a
since
really
the
exciting team to
Bobcat
watch.
ages, so Jake, since the Bobcat ages, the highest we have ever finished since the Bobcat ages was 6th. And since the original Hornets, the highest we have ever finished was 4th 4 times.
Yeah, see, the Bobcats, I would say, just really weren't that good. Like, they just weren't. I do understand, though, because Charlotte's not really, like, Charlotte wasn't really a big market at the time. And also, they did make some good draft picks, but at the same time, just the Bobcats were
Exactly.
just not a great franchise. Now,
So
obviously, they're the
apparently the
Hornets.
Hornets have actually won. The original Hornets did actually win more than one playoff series. They have apparently won 4.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I do
they
want to
won.
say I really like how the Hornets are playing this year. Really young team, fun to watch, especially with Miles Bridges throwing down lobs left and right, just all over the place. Make off the rebound, dunking them in, just dunking in transition, just dunking everywhere. We saw Devontae get in on the dunk today. It was a weak dunk, but it's still a dunk for Devontae today against the Wizards. So it was still fun to see that. It's fun to see the team have fun out there, which I feel like they are.
Honestly, I feel like this team might be the most entertaining team for the Hornets ever.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say before the season, the Hornets, like before going into this season, like last season or whatever, the Hornets, they were fun to watch, but like people, like let's say they're not a Hornets fan, they didn't really want to watch the team. It wasn't like that interesting and that fun. Like, yeah, it was more fun, I feel like, than some of the previous years to watch and more entertaining, but still not anything like if you're just a normal NBA fan that wants to watch it. But this year, I feel like a lot of just normal NBA fans or other team fans would be like they want to watch the Hornets. They want to see LaMelo throw lobs to Miles. They want to see Devontae be good. Terry Rozier been really clutch this year. Gordon Hayward. Like, I feel like there's a lot to like about this team. So this year, people that weren't just Hornets fans would actually want to watch it. And also some Hornets fans that just because the team was so bad didn't want to watch it are now starting to like the Hornets again and root for them. So
here's the funny thing. I still remember earlier this year when we had the 3rd pick, we were so mad when the Warriors took Wiseman. Yeah, how's that getting us now? I think we're pretty happy with our
explain
pick.
that pick. The reason why at the time, Wiseman looked like a really good center prospect. I still think he's going to be a great player for the Warriors.
So do I.
He's been dealing with injuries, but the reason
top
why
three in
is
this
keep in
draft class
mind,
might be the best top three in a draft class ever.
yeah, well, you'll have to see how their careers pan
It
out.
really does have the chance to be the best top
I'm not
three
going to say that.
in a draft class ever.
You got to give them their careers and see how they do. Like, I'm not going to say that now, but
that's why I'm saying it has a chance to be.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. LaMelo, Wiseman, and Edwards, I think, can all be really good players. But the reason why originally on draft night I was mad is because keep in mind that we still had Terry Rozier. Devontae Graham was coming off his best season in his career and possibly could have been in the conversation for most improved player of the year. I know he wasn't technically in it, but still a really good player that last year. So Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham coming off great seasons. And at the time, Cody Zeller was still our center. He only has 1 year left on his deal. And I feel like Cody Zeller's not bad, but I wanted an upgrade to go play like a pick and roll with Devontae Graham or a pick and roll with Terry Rozier and just be a better center overall. And I felt like Wiseman could do that. And I'm like, we already had 2 really good guards, and we still had Monk off the bench, keep in mind. And yeah, he's a little bit inconsistent, but he's still a really good backup guard, I would say. So that's why I was kind of hesitant originally about us taking LaMelo because that's another guard to add to the team when we already had 2 really good guards and some good ones off the bench as well. So that's why I was kind of hesitant about it because we really need a big man. But LaMelo ended up fitting in well, and now we have 3 really good guards. And if we want, we can always play 3 guards basketball because LaMelo is really tall, so he can play small forward if you want him to.
Yeah.
But that's why originally I wasn't thrilled about the pick. And then also you have to keep in mind when LaMelo was coming out, there was he had great IQ. He was great at passes and all that. Just the thing is, you had to look back. He was only shooting 25% in the Australian League because he played there 1 year. He shot 25% from 3 and just was not a great shooter.
Yeah, he's definitely matured as a shooter, definitely fixed his form. He's definitely improved.
He kind of looked like Lonzo, where his form he was doing all the way up until he got drafted. And then when he got drafted, the team was going to want to change it. And I didn't know if it would really work out. Because if you look at Lonzo, the Pelicans changed his form, and now he's shooting a lot better this season. But look at how long he's been in the league before he's actually started shooting better. He was in the league for 2 years with the Lakers, then got traded, and then 1 more year with the Pelicans, and then his 4th season in the NBA, that's when he started to break out and actually start to shoot well. So that's why I was a little bit hesitant because I didn't want a player that was just a really good passer, even though that's good, especially we had Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier, so it'd be good if he's just a passer. But I would also want a scorer for a number 3 overall pick, which at the time it didn't really look like LaMelo was a great shooter.
Exactly.
But obviously, as you could see, he definitely had a really good rookie season if he doesn't come back, and he was definitely a lot better of a shooter than people thought he was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think we should end it here. I think we've covered a decent amount in our first episode.
Yeah, just if you're watching this as a video, just let us know down in the comments below if you have any questions about the Hornets or just anything in general, because this will be left up as a video after we're done and we end this as a live. And also, if you want to check us out on Instagram, we have a podcast for the this Hornets podcast as an Instagram account. And then we also have our personals, and mine's Panthers Fan YT. And Ian.
And mine is Page Fan 5.
And the HornetsCast one is just, or for the podcast, it's just HornetsCast on Instagram. I'll leave a link to that in the description. And thank you guys for watching this video. If for the podcast, let us know if you're enjoying the podcast down below. And there's also a link in the description to Anchor if you do want to see the official first episode. But this is the official one through YouTube, since we're going to start on here and kind of just not do Anchor as much, because this is just, I think, a little bit easier for us right now. We could always go back to that if you want, but I think this is a little bit easier, because then also we can also have like a setup like this, and I think this is a little bit better than just talking and audio and not having any video whatsoever. And at least you get video. So I think it's a little bit better this way. But we can always go back to Anchor. But I think this is going to work a little bit better for at least now. So if you do want to see the first episode, you can click the link down in the description to see the podcast. And thank you for watching this. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.